Hello everyone, my name is Bibi and I'm back with another Pleasantview renovation video. Now you might be wondering, hey, why are we starting at this industrial area right now? Well, I've been decorating the neighborhood off camera and today's house build is right across the street from this place. This speed build was recorded before I placed all the decorations, so I'll give you guys just a few teasers of what Pleasantview looks like at the moment. You'll see the full hood revealed pretty soon. But for today, we're moving in another Lotvin family into their new home, and that would be the Oldie family. The Oldies are simply one of the nicest families around. Their years together, through good and bad, have made them into the wonderful parents and grandparents they are today. Okay, much like the Burp family I moved in last time, the Oldies don't have a lot of money, so they can't really afford any of the nicer family homes near the center of town. And I had this idea for their build that didn't really fit the architecture of that area to begin with, so I decided they'll fit in well right here, near Randy Broke's house. Here we are and they're already walking in, but I'm actually gonna need you both to get out of the house right now. Okay, out, let's go. Oh, look at him run. Yeah, it's a sunny day to build a cozy cottage house. I had an idea of what I wanted the oldie house to look like, and this house is just not it. You're going to see me do something quite different today because I am going to drastically change this entire lot. This is not gonna look like this in the end. In hindsight, perhaps I should have just bought an empty plot of land to build this house, because this is pretty much a new build, not so much a renovation, but you know, what's done is done. We're working with this now. But don't worry, I plan on adding more cheap housing in this neighborhood in the future, so when the time comes and our families are in generation 2, 3 and onwards, Sims who aren't too wealthy can have a decent start at life. Just because the current reality of the world is that we can't afford home ownership, it doesn't have to be the same in The Sims, okay? It doesn't have to be like that. These Sims get to have a nice life. So about this build, I actually used a reference picture I found on Pinterest for the exterior of this house, and I'll put it on the screen for you guys to see. We don't really have super advanced building tools in The Sims 2, and I didn't want to use the constrained floor elevation sheet for this, so it's a vanilla style build. I wanted to retain the overall footprint of the house, so it's not much larger than the original structure. You just saw I placed the building on a foundation because I wanted to give it that sense of elevation that the reference photo has. I really wish we had platforms like in The Sims 4, maybe in a few years. Considering the crazy new things modders come up with each year, I wouldn't be surprised. The Sims 4 build mode is amazing. I love building houses in that game. The rest of the gameplay elements are questionable though, but anyways. The silhouette of the house is pretty much done now. I'm using doors, windows, roof colors, and walls from the bespoke build set. I showed you guys this set in my build and buy mode CC video. If you guys haven't seen that and like the custom content I use, I recommend you go and check that video after this one. You guys ask me about my CC all the time, and at the moment I'm much more comfortable answering any questions about specific CC items you like in the comments of my videos. I want to try and include links along with my videos for each upload, but I really don't know if that's possible at the moment. I mean, it is, but it's just going to take probably multiple days of work to organize and find the links for everything each time. And right now, I honestly would rather just get these videos out more frequently because I want to get to the gameplay as well. Ideally, I'd like to release 2 videos a week, but I'm struggling to fit that in between my main job and my side job, and YouTube is taking up at least like 30 hours a week, so it's a lot. I mean, it's also kind of like a side job. I've just got a lot on my plate. But back to the build, sorry for rambling. I pictured the Oldie family living in a cozy cottage, just a very stereotypical picture-perfect country home of a sweet elderly couple. Although I see you there, Herb Oldie, with the romance aspiration, you dirty old man. Herb was whistling and swooning over Nina Caliente when she came around while I was taking screenshots of the finished house. I think Coral needs to be careful. She just can't let that sort of disrespect slide. If Herb doesn't chill, I don't know, he might be sleeping on the sidewalk in his old age. When I started furnishing the house, I went about it a bit differently than what you've previously seen me do. I started pulling out the different items that I liked and wanted to place, and then I organized them in their spots in the rooms. This method works well for me, and it worked really well this time, I believe. There was just a lot of brainstorming and just trying to find the right items that fit the vision I had in my head. One of the best thing about The Sims 4 build and buy mode is the search bar. Oh, it's so good. As far as I know, nobody has made such a mod for The Sims 2. I mean, I don't know if that would even be possible, but that would make my life so much easier. Just for anyone who has a huge amount of custom content in their game, it's really challenging trying to find the exact item you want. Even if you know what it's called and what it looks like, you just have to scroll through endless amounts of just these tiny icons. It's really difficult, but yeah. My speed builds are highly edited because I cut out a lot of just browsing and experimenting with different objects. I don't think that would be just very entertaining to watch. It's pretty fun while I do it in the game, but when I create these videos, I try to think from the point of view of the viewer. I wouldn't want to make the kind of videos that I wouldn't watch if someone else made them. Does that make sense? Even though I started making YouTube videos barely a month ago, so yeah, I still have a lot to learn. I just want to make videos that I'll genuinely feel happy sharing with you all. The main interior of the cottage has this flowing open floor plan. There's this large entry area, which I really like how it turned out. It looks quite welcoming and cozy. The house just looks nostalgic to me. It looks like there's history. Not all of the objects match flawlessly, and that's okay. Most people don't live in perfectly manicured houses that look like they're out of the cover of an interior design magazine. Not everyone has matching furniture for each room. This house has been lived in for quite a long while, and they've collected a bunch of heirlooms and objects that hold a lot of history and sentimental value. The oldies also have that small black fireplace you see in the niche there, which is something that you often see in older houses where I live. I put a sewing machine for Coral. I think she can benefit from a couple of hobbies to fill her days. There aren't that many bright colors in this house. I like building with vibrant colors. It's something you rarely see in people's homes in real life. Most people have more neutral colors in their interiors, so The Sims is kind of my outlet to make the rainbow houses of my dreams. oldie cottage is still quite warm. There are pleasant greens, light wood, cream and off-white, floral patterns, and coral reds. Coral reds, get it? Haha, so funny. Their bathroom is in this slightly dull red color. I gave them a shower tub combo, plus they get a washer and dryer. I think there's a laundry mod for The Sims 2. I'm pretty sure there is one, I've seen it. But I don't use it in my game. Honestly, laundry is one of those things that is just so mundane and annoying in real life. Like, it's one of those parts of real life that I just don't want in my game. This is a fantasy world. I only want the fun parts of realism in this universe. So yeah, I like placing the washer and dryer, and we can imagine they're using them. But that was the last of what we did with the interior, and now we're moving on to the garden. The beautiful garden is part of the appeal of this house. There are lots of flowers, trees, flowery bushes. I placed a fruit tree and some garden plots for Coral and Herb to try growing their own fruits and veggies together. There's this tiny pond which is not for fishing. I was thinking it's more in the lines of it's a puddle that's there because of their water pump, like maybe it's leaking and there's a little indent in the ground and it's forming this little puddle. There's a little space for some outdoor chairs and a table in the back, but they didn't have a lot of money for that. They actually, again, didn't have a lot of money to begin with, so I did cheat in some money to build a decent house for them. But I'm like, they should have some money in retirement. Why are they so broke? Why are they broke? How are they so broke? But then Mary Sue was like living in this super huge house that is obviously like one of the most expensive houses in the hood. It just doesn't make sense. So I'm like, ka-ching. You get a little bit of money for landscaping to make this house pretty, because I want that. Anywho, the front part of the garden is what really sells this build. I was looking at the reference photo and it has these pretty manicured bushes and a curvy walking path, so I tried recreating that as much as I could. I'm stacking plenty of vegetation, lots of yellows to contrast with the blue accents of the house. I added some rocks and I elevated the terrain just a little bit, and I also used the terrain paint that looks like rocks to make it look like the lawn isn't just perfectly flat grass. I'm adding the last couple of trees and larger rocks to finish off the look, and the Oldie family cottage is complete. This is the finished house. Now let's see what's going on inside of this cozy little home. Coral is itching to do some gardening, but I don't think watering plants in the rain will be of any use. That's why she's going to spend the afternoon reading, while Herb is fantasizing about romance. He's hopefully thinking of his wife and not the attractive Caliente sisters who live across the block. He does see them through the window walking by every now and again, and he's very excited for that sight. Rainy days are reserved for cooking together and staying warm by the fireplace. Coral is going to work on her sewing projects, and then she's going to have some rest, while Herb gets clean because he's planning on going out in the afternoon. He's been learning how to browse the internet. He's recently learned how to write comments with fire emojis under the photos of Instagram models, so that's his favorite hobby at the moment. I don't know how much Coral will appreciate that new hobby of his. Hopefully there won't be any trouble in this picture perfect paradise. Well, this is it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you soon with another Sims 2 video. Bye!